Hello and welcome to the Baron's Game Room. I'm Aaron as always, and I'm a little sleepy. Hello and welcome to the Baron's Game Room. I'm Aaron as always, and it is once again spooky season. So as every spooky season, I am covering spooky games. It is the time of ghouls and frights and nightmares. So today we are talking about Lucidity, six-sided nightmares. Lucidity is a press your luck dice rolling game for 1 to 4 players, where players are attempting to escape the dream world by fighting off nightmares or become one of the nightmares and take down all of your other friends. Setup pretty simple. Just make sure every player has one of these dreamer cards, as they call them. Give them a sleep tracker they can use. Make sure the bag of dice is readily available to every player. And then finally make sure the 4 nightmare cards. Make sure the 4 nightmare cards are placed in the center of the table, again within reach of every player. You'll need those later. Probably. Maybe. You'll see. Oh, and of course, you can give each player a reference card that tells you the faces on the dice, as well as gives you a term order breakdown. Y'all know this stuff. Whoever most recently had a bad dream, nightmares, who starts this game. The first thing you'll do is choose a sleep track. Sleep tracks basically determine how many dice you're going to be rolling this turn. So if you want to play it safe, you'll place yours at the 3. If you want to play a little more dangerous, at the 4. And if you want to really be dangerous this turn, you'll place it at the 5. After deciding which one, we'll go with this one. Let's move on to the next step. Next, you will draw and return dice, or as the game calls them, dreams, from the bag. Since I placed it here, that means I'm going to draw out 4 dice. 2, 3, 4. There we go. Then, I'm going to return any 2 of these back to the bag. No matter which number you start at, you will always return 2 back to the bag. So if I had started at 3, I would have drew 3 out and put 2 away. But again, you can use your reference card here to see what facings are on each one. I'm going to put back the red and the green. And these are the 2 dice I would roll this turn. Once you've done that, go ahead and move on to the next step, which is to roll and resolve your dreams. So, roll your dreams. Hey, good roll. And then you will resolve them in this particular order. First, the 1s and 2s, those are points. For each 1 or 2 you rolled, add it to your power meter here. The goal of the game is to be the first player to reach 15 points, and then there'll be one last little round. Whoever has the most points at the end wins the game. If you have a 1, simply add it to your track like this. If you rolled a 2, which this side doesn't have, there's a 2. If you rolled a 2, be sure to leave a gap after it so you can keep track of your points better. So that's 2 points. So let's leave a little gap there so we know I actually have 3 points. After the 1s and 2s, you will resolve any of these scary bull skulls. These are hunt faces. You will place them up here on the hunt track. Yes, you read that right. If you end up getting 4 of these filled up on your board, you completely lose the game. It is over for you. You will take no more turns, although you will stay at the table because some other effects like this will still be referring to you if you're at the table. So you can still have effect on other players' turns. Then, after you resolve the hunt symbols, you will resolve any exhaust symbols. They are little moons and Z's. You will add these up here. This is essentially the press your luck part of the game. Well, there's a lot of parts of it. This is the main mechanic of it. If you end up getting this filled up, you are too exhausted to keep rolling and you will not be able to choose to continue rolling this turn. You will have to stop and rest, which you could choose to do earlier if you wanted, but this could force you to do it. And then lastly, you will resolve the eyeballs, which they call shadow faces. Or whatever color die you roll, you will match it over to this side on the shadow track. This is a yellow die, so I'll place it right here on the yellow track here, and then I would immediately be forced to take this effect. If you rolled multiple shadow things in one turn. It is your choice in which order you play them on the board, so your choice in which order these effects happen. You've resolved all your dies. You are not dead from the hunt. You are not too exhausted to keep going on. You are not lost to the nightmares yet. Now you may choose to either stop and rest, or you may choose to dream again. Dreaming again just means you're going to roll some more dice. We'll go over that real quick. If you choose to dream again, the first thing you'll do is you will move your sleep tracker up one number. So last turn I drew 4. This turn I will draw 6 dreams out of the bag. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There we go. Oh, too many. Shoot. But again, like last time, I will draw these 6 out, pick 2 that I don't want to keep, and then roll the rest and play out the turn as normal. Otherwise, if you choose to rest, let's go over that. By choosing to rest, you can either remove 1 eye or shadow face die from your board, any one from your board anywhere, or you can remove all of the exhaust tokens from your track. So, again, if you choose to rest, you will either get rid of 1 eye or all exhaust tokens from your board, and that passes on to the next player. However, let's assume you pushed yourself too hard and became exhausted by filling your exhaust track. If you become exhausted by filling up your exhaust row, then what you must do is reach into the bag, draw out any one die, any one dream. Then you will return this back to the bag along with every dream of that color you have collected for points. So since I drew out a green one, I would have to return this green one back to the bag. If I had drawn out red, I would have lost all 3 of those reds. Super sucks. Now, there is one other way to end the turn, and the other way you can end the turn is by succumbing to the shadows and becoming a nightmare yourself. If at the end of your turn you have 3 or more shadow die on any one of these dream tracks over here, these nightmare tracks, this 4th one is only for 2 players, although you could, again, have more if you'd rolled more in that last turn. If you have 3 or more, then you become a nightmare and are no longer trying to escape the dream, but you are now trying to trap your opponents in the dream as well while gaining power still from the dream. If you happen to end up with 3 or more of 2 tracks on the same turn, you can choose which one you want to become. However, if you only have it on one, you will become that color. So, I would become Primeval Fear. Once you become a nightmare, return all dreams, again, or dies, on your card back to the bag, except for your points. So all of your hunts, exhausts, and shadows all go back to the bag. Again, take the matching color and add it right here over your board. I have now become Nightmare of the Depths. Your turn's going to work a little differently as a nightmare. Now that you're a nightmare, you can do one of 2 things on your turn. You can either consume power or send out minions. If you choose to consume power, what you will do is you will take any dream, again, die, that matches your color off of any other player's card. So, I could steal any of the blue dies on this player's card and turn them into a 1-pointer for me. So I could take this, put it to a 1, and add it to my track. Let's say, for example, they didn't have any blues on their track like that. I could still take one of these eyes or this exhaust. As long as it's blue, I would steal it, turn it to a 1, and add it to my track as a point for the turn. To send minions, what you will do is you will reach into the bag and draw out 2 die, then select one of them to put back in the bag, and give the other one to any player. They are forced to roll and resolve this die immediately. So they would roll it. Unfortunately, I just gave that person a point. But I could steal it on a later turn, again, with my consume power. Anyway, so...
Stop ignoring us, you fool! Wake up! Wake up! Wake up! Wake up!
Where am I? I think I was doing a board game review in my dreams. Yeah. For Lucidity. What's this doing out anyways? I think I was doing a pretty good job as far as I remember. Except for I don't think I ever mentioned that you can give up points to reroll dice you haven't resolved yet. Like if you didn't want to resolve an eye or a hunt that you rolled, you could give up a point you already have accumulated of that color to re-roll that die. So if you want to re-roll a blue die, you'd have to give up a blue point that you have. However, that does mean if you have a 2-pointer that's all you have, such as if you wanted to re-roll a red one and the only red you had was a 2-pointer, then sorry, you lose 2 points if you want to re-roll that die. You don't turn it to a 1 or anything. But otherwise, I think I was doing pretty good. I was coming up on the end game, I think, right? Okay, I've reset this up the best I can remember for my dream. I think this is about right. What I was at is, once you become the nightmare, anytime a player rolls an eye of your color, hey, lucky me, you immediately steal that die and turn it into a point, as well as having some special effect. Each different nightmare has its own unique special effect that happens when you steal a shadow roll, an eye, of your color. So this stops there from ever being 2 people fill up the same track, because as soon as someone succumbs to the blue nightmare, the Nightmare of Depths, no one else could fill that track, because every time they roll an eye, this player will steal it, turn it to a point, and then play out its special effect, such as on this one. Move it to your card as a 1, then you may draw 2 dreams, return 1 to the bag, and the dreamer rolls the other. So, after stealing that, I would basically do the send menu thing. Reach in the bag, pull out 2, return 1, and make them roll this one. There you go. And that counts for everyone who becomes a nightmare throughout the game. Otherwise, yeah, let's go on to the end game, which is at the end of any player's turn, if a player has 15 or more points, every other player will get 1 last turn, and then whoever has the most points wins the game. Lucidity is certainly pretty edgy in all of its design and theme and everything, but I'm not going to lie. I dig it. It's a good spooky-ish and kind of cool theme and all that. I like the art on it. The art's pretty great. Although, I don't know if this is in every copy, but my copy did also come with some alternate artwork cards, which change the dark, scary, black and white monsters into, like, these cute little kid drawings. Those are kind of fun. They have one for each of the nightmares, so you can replace the nightmares with these instead. Those are kind of funny. There's one thing I also didn't go over is there is an extra nightmare. You can use Temptation, which you can use to replace either the green Nightmare of Envy or the red Nightmare of Primal Fear. They just have some slightly different effects. It just keeps the game a little fresh and, replayability and all that. Also, the cards are technically double-sided, and it don't matter. It's just different art, so you can have either one face up, whichever one you like. Obviously, you can see that Lucidity is a very luck-driven game. It's a lot of die rolling. However, I think it does have a decent amount of control in the situation. The fact that you put some dice back means you're not entirely at the whim of exactly whatever you draw out. If you're getting really close to yellows and you draw only 1 or 2 yellows, then hey, you can put those back and not become a nightmare. So I think it does give you a little bit of control, which I think helps for people who really don't like just completely luck-driven die rolling stuff. I think some of the effects are pretty cool and all that. They're usually on the negative side. This is not one you should play if you want to necessarily feel like you're doing really well, because it's kind of designed to make it where you're always sort of struggling and all that. And to be fair, I don't think I've played a game yet where we didn't have at least one player succumb to being a nightmare. I don't think I've ever played a game where we made it to the end and not have at least one person fall to being a nightmare. So it's kind of a tough game, but again, I think the luck mitigation helps it and all that. Again, I think it's a pretty nifty theme and all that. The abilities are pretty cool. It's not really a younger kids game, I wouldn't say. This is not really a family-friendly one. Not just because of the art or anything or the themes. I just think it is a little difficult in the planning or the remembering how to resolve them all. I'm not saying you couldn't play it with a bigger kid, but probably not for little kids. Oh, and there's obviously different rules for one-player games, but I'm sorry, I've never played the one-player version, so I can't teach you the rules on that one. Sorry, guys. It looks pretty cool, plays pretty fun. Do you need this game in your collection? No. But if the theme and all that really speaks to you, or you find it for pretty cheap, then yeah, I say there's no reason for me to tell you not to get it. That means Lucidity, Six-Sided Nightmares is going to be fair and approved, guys. Okay, I guess let's just put this all away now. The video's over, and Whoa. What's happening? Whoa, what's happening? What's happening? What's going on?
You thought we would let you go just like that? You thought you could escape? No one escapes our nightmares. The only thing better than fear is the taste of hope.
I don't understand. What's going on? What's happening?
Do we really have to spell it out for you? You're still sleeping.